How do you start a major cosmetic company 30 years ago during the worst economy in the United States since the Great Depression, the real worst economy since the Great Depression, with $700? How do you start a business with zero money? So I'm going to give you everything we did. We didn't have an office, but I had a friend with a telephone. My office was an answering machine that you could buy today for $29.95. I got a friend of mine who had an English accent, and she said, "Hello, John Paul Mitchell Systems. Oh, we're so busy, but leave a message, we'll get with you." It looked like we were bigger. There was just Paul and I. That was our office. We need a location. I went to Universal City, California, to the little post office there. For $15, I got a P.O. box. John Paul Mitchell Systems, P.O. Box 10597, Universal City, California. We had a phone. We had a secretary that didn't exist, or someone answering the phone. That was it. For stationery, I would go to a print shop for $3. They would typeset and make me one copy. That was my stationery. I would go to a photocopy place for 4 cents a copy and make many copies. I now had stationery, and I had letterhead, and I could draw on there an invoice so I could invoice people. Okay, fine. You have a make-believe office set up, but how about the products? Well, everyone was set up to do 100,000 of each bottle. And, you know, they were excited, they were enthusiastic, we were enthusiastic, I was excited, enthusiastic, but nobody knew. We didn't have any money. We didn't want to lie, but we didn't want to quite tell them everything. So I called up the bottle man, got started with the bottle guy, and said, instead of ordering 100,000 bottles, I'd like to have a sample run of 10,000. Oh, of course, we understand, no problem. We'll give it to you at the same price. Called the silk screener. 10,000 are coming over, and it's a sample run. I want 300 shampoo 1, 300 shampoo 2, and 3,000, and then I want the other 4,000 the conditioner. Ah, no problem. And by the way, don't put the color on, because color was 7 cents a pass. Black and white was 2 cents. So our bottles came out black and white. Turned out it was great. Unisex. We didn't know that. We just knew it was a lot less to silk screen them. Called the filler up. You get all the supplies. We just need a 10,000 filled. 3,000 of this, 3,000 of that. Okay. And all of a sudden, bingo, the clock started ticking. From the time the silk screener got it, the bottle guy got it to the silk screener, got it to the filling house, we had them full, was 2 weeks. It was 2 weeks longer, because I had set up credit with everybody prior to this time, 30-day credit. 2 weeks from now, that first bill is due. I hit the streets, knocking door to door like I was selling encyclopedias. But I would go from beauty salon to beauty salon to beauty salon. We had a shampoo that instead of using 2 shampoos, more product, rinsing it down the sink, it goes away, you only need 1 shampoo. Saves you time and money. I wouldn't give a presentation. Here's my product. Most people would say, well, why do I need your product? I've got Zotos, I've got L'Oreal, I've got Rec, and they go down all the regular companies' lines. I don't need your product, you're an unknown. I said, well, here's what I'll do. If you will agree to take 1 dozen each of what I have and use my shampoo and conditioner at every station you have, I'll make this agreement with you. And display it, by the way, at eye level. Black and white looks so good at eye level. If you will do that, and you are not satisfied as one of the hottest products you've ever used and recommend to your customers to take home, I will come back, take every bottle off the shelf you have not used or sold out the door. Still a good bottle you haven't used or sold yet. I will give you your money back on all of it. Now, is that fair enough? The answer was usually no. We don't need your product, okay? We have all these other products there, right? Finally, I'd say, okay, I can understand your skepticism, but if it works the way I say it does and your customers love it and you love it, you're going to want to recommend it. I'll tell you what I'll do. If you will agree to have it at eye level, a nice little display, let me come in and hold a little class for your stylist on how to use it. I will place only 6 bottles of the shampoo, 6 bottles of conditioner, 6 bottles of everything in your salon, and I'll also give you this within 1 month, 30 days. If you're totally happy, anything you haven't used or sold out the door, I'll give you your money back. Is that fair enough? And the same with your customers. And some would say yes, some would say no. I'd say, okay, I can understand. If I only gave you 2 bottles, and it's amazing how many people only took 2 bottles or 6 bottles. I went around and I got 12 people to buy it. I had it in my trunk. So I took it out. Here's your order. Can I have the check? They gave me the check. I went down to Paris Ace Beauty Supply in downtown LA, who was calling on salons. And I said, would you like to be the distributor for this new hotline? We call it Paul Mitchell because my partner's a hairdresser, I'm not. It'll only be in the hairdressing industry forever. It's not going to be like Nexus or Jeramac or all these other companies that sell you out. They let the hairdressers build them up and then they go retail with their lines. It'll always stay in salons. So that's why you should buy our product. And here's how unique it is. He said, we don't need to buy your product. We have a Lynn Curtis. He just went on and on. I said, but I'll tell you what. If you knew customers were going to buy this, would you take it on? Yeah, but who knows that? You don't know for sure. I whipped out 12 orders, put 12 checks right in front of them and said, that's your first 12 orders, and there's the checks for them. I haven't cashed them yet. For $2,000 in product, you could be my LA distributor exclusively for all of LA County, and I'll come here and help you sell it. He looked at it, laughed his head off, his name was Jim Henrietta, laughed and said, okay. I said, but just one more thing. When I deliver the $2,000, I'm a new company. I really need a check. He laughed and said, hey, we pay our bills in 45 days. Well, knowing that in advance, I priced my products at 5% over what I really wanted. I said, I'll tell you what, I'll give you a 5% discount. Give me a check on the spot, I need the money. I already had this in my mind. Yeah, how do you get money right away? Well, whatever your price of your product is, up at 5%. And then give it right back to them for paying you right away. To this date, Paul Mitchell gets paid COD or within 10 days. And we still have that 5% in there. No one ever doesn't take it. How you get in the door? So he said, okay. And I drove around back to the warehouse. Warehouse man, this stuff is for you. Can I have a check? He calls Jim Henrietta. We had Jim Henrietta about 10 years ago to one of our meetings to tell everybody the story. He says, I'm sitting in my office, the phone rings, it's my warehouse manager. And he says, you're not gonna believe there's some guy back here on loaded products, he wants a check. He says, what does he look like? His name is John Paul. He was just in my office 5 minutes ago. You learn as you go along various ways to, shall we say, save money and to along the way build a business.